look, personal finance, we're calling this an adventure of the wild ride, and there's a reason for that. Look, money is up and down. Hey, look, I don't care. I don't care is not the right way to say this. This is not political. This is not about who's in power or this is nothing about that. But I can promise you, and I've done this class many times, of who, regardless of what party is in power, regardless of who is in power, has things gotten really cheaper for us at any point over the last 20 or 30 years? Or have prices gone up and gone up and gone up and steadily gone up and costs have gone up? It's been tough to make ends meet, regardless of your financial position. It's always tough. And here's proof of that. So I'm not getting political. I'm just saying, hey, regardless, things aren't getting cheaper, and I don't expect anything to get cheaper. So what do we do about that? Well, we have to talk about it. So, but here's some numbers that are true. 84% of Americans, regardless of their socioeconomic status, of where they are on the life, where they live, their education, regardless of the type of income they make, whether they're making a lot of income or a little income, 84% say that they overspend month to month. That's a big deal. 44% of them, almost half, 44% of the people that say they overspend are using credit to make ends meet month to month. What your allocation of your money? You've got funds coming in, you possibly have enough to take care of everything, except you're spending unwisely. Budgeting is not about not spending money. Budget is about spending your money wisely, spending your money in the right places. I'm not saying that a vacation or a going out to eat is not something that you should do. But if it's, I'm gonna go out and spend $150 on a meal for my family, one meal for my family, I mean, that's more than what my weekly grocery bill is for a family of four. We want to go out to eat. Great, I don't have the cash to do it, so I'm just going to put it on a credit card because that's the lifestyle I want to live. Look, I like to eat, obviously. Like there's no doubt I like food. And if I'm making a choice, it's a choice to put myself in debt to go out to eat because we want to do that, or am I making a smart choice with my budget to go, hey, let's not do that, but maybe I should put some money in a savings so that I can treat us next week or the week after that, or whatever that savings may be, so that, yeah, we're gonna go out to eat, we're just not gonna do it right now. That's thoughtful, that's budgeting how I'm spending my money. And you're right, most people get into trouble because they think that they need this right now. We'll talk about some of the mentality of money here in just a moment. So these are serious numbers. And by the way, COVID, I know we talk about COVID all the time. Still, it's been how many years and we're still talking about it. It still affects people, but it's not affecting people on the massive scale as it did a few years back when we shut down the world. Since that, before then, the average household unsecured, so credit card debt, debt that's not a car loan, that's not a house loan, was $6,000. After COVID, after the shutdown, the average household debt jumped up $4,000 a month to $10,000 or a year, $10,000. So that little experience of, not little, I don't want to belittle it, but that experience that in the grand scheme was just a short time affected massively our household debt because we were at home. We were at home and we were buying things on Walmart.com or Amazon. Those of us that had never purchased on an online thing like that, purchased groceries or anything online, all of a sudden were forced to purchase things online, and it became easy. And wasn't it convenient? Once you learned to do that and had it done, it was amazingly convenient just to go, well, I'll buy that. Oh, if you can get it delivered free in the next 8 hours if you buy one more thing. It's like, well, heck, I like that. Let me buy that. All of a sudden, we were buying left and right online. Cool, convenient, $4,000 increased debt. That's a huge percentage of the income in a household. It's massive. It's massive. And that's why I am so proud. Here's a City Credit Union plug. I'm so proud that I work for a credit union that allows me to go out, and spend my time helping people understand budgets and get better and do one-on-one, regardless of if you're a member or not. You can have a conversation with me one-on-one because look, I know money is personal and nobody wants to air their dirty money out in front of everybody else, especially not when he's recording it. So I get that. So I can have one-on-one conversations. You don't have to be a member. It doesn't cost you anything. This is why I'm very proud of my credit union for allowing me to do this.
You said City Credit?
City Credit Union.
Okay.
I am more than blessed. You're not wanting me to go out. You don't care that I go out and sell. Oh, like we'd love to have people join. I mean, that's what we do. That's what we'd love to have it, but that's not what our board of directors wants. Our board of directors wants you to go out and educate people. Where do I sign? What day do you want me to start? I'm thrilled. So that is my egregious pitch of City Credit Union and what we do. It is awesome, and I'm excited to be here. So please ask me anything. I'm happy to answer those questions. I've been around a bit. So that's a major number. This is from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I don't know if anybody's ever read it before. If you haven't, I recommend reading it. I recommend getting it and giving it to your family members because this book talks about what the difference is between somebody who has money and how they are handling their money and somebody who doesn't and is always perpetually in a state of not having money, and what habits the two of them have and what habit might get you out of that to be in a more positive position financially. I love it. It's not how much money you make, but it's how much money you keep. Just on your point, exactly on your point. Are we spending things on things that we don't need to be spending? If I'm in a tight money situation, am I putting my money in the right place, or have I mentally checked out on money? I'll talk about that in a minute. So, buy now, pay later. Do anybody know the buy now, pay laters? So if you bought anything on Amazon, whenever you're going to purchase, does it come up and say, do you want to make this purchase now, or would you like 4 easy payments at 0 interest? It's cool. It's cool. I'll be honest. We use a buy now, pay later when we book any type of travel. When I'm booking a hotel, and if they're wanting me to pay up front, and I'm not going to do anything for another month, I don't like my money to go out of my pocket. I like my money working for me, but I'm really good on the budget. My wife is another disclosure. My wife does our budget. I talk about budgets all day long. When I get home, it's the last thing I want to do. So my wife does our budget. She's really good at it. So we're really on top of it. So we use it to purchase things like that I don't want my cash coming out of my pocket right now. But in a month, I'm going to pay off that buy now, pay later. I know I'm going to do that, but guess what happens if we made a mistake and we missed? It's 0 interest right now. If I missed that payment, if I didn't get them that payment, it'll jump up to 36% interest from the day that I borrowed the money the first time. It's a scary, scary thing, and be leery. By the way, your kids and your kids' kids, if they're purchasing things online, they're using this because they think they're gaming the system. And some get into serious trouble. By the way, they come back to you and go, no problem, you couldn't make that payment, 36% interest. We're going to give you a credit card, and I've got you a limit on this credit card now. So you're fine. It's not going to affect your credit, but now you have credit with us, and you can make your purchases easily like this. All of a sudden, you're getting in debt. $4,000 increased household debt. How did you get there? It's really easy, isn't it? How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? And this is one thing that I always want to talk about. Why do I have a smoker, a little guy smoking up there? This is a great story from another book that I really like. It's called Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is a cool read. It's actually pretty good. It's talking about the little things, just the little things that we do that we change, that we can change daily. And as you do each little thing, it gets bigger and bigger and explodes up like you're splitting an atom and it just goes out. So starting out small. But he's got a story in here about these 2 guys that decided they were going to quit smoking. So 2 guys, they've been smoking for a long time, and they go, hey, we gotta get healthy, we gotta quit smoking. So they both decide to do it together. We're gonna stop, cold turkey. I'm not gonna light up another cigarette. They're doing well. months go by, and they have not smoked. They are a team, and they're working really well together. So one day they're hanging out, and another friend of theirs that smokes comes up and goes, "Hey, you guys want a cigarette?" One guy goes, "No, I'm trying to quit." The other guy says, "No, I don't smoke." Who's going to be successful? The one that said he's identified himself as somebody that doesn't smoke. He's not trying to quit, and maybe, hopefully, by chance, I might quit. He has made the decision in his life that he is not a smoker. That's powerful. How we identify ourselves, that is powerful. And why do I talk about then money? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself that's going to struggle and it just doesn't even matter? That's why I talk about, have you checked out on your finances? And you're like, we're just gonna roll the dice and hope we get there. Or do you see yourself as somebody that can turn things around and save and be that person that is paying attention to the dollars, not spending, but spending wisely? Do you see yourself as that person or somebody that, like I had a buddy of mine that every year bought a new car. He was a great customer. My company made a lot of money off of this guy because every year he would finance a new car. It's like, do you know how much this is costing you? Yeah, but I never see myself not having a car payment. Well, yeah, you never see yourself not having a car because you're not dreaming about the possibility of not having $400 cupping out of your pocket every month for a car for the rest of your life. It gives me hives to think about it. I just had to buy a new car. And by the way, ridiculous, 70,000 miles on this car. It was nice, but it's got 70,000 miles on it. I bought it used, a couple of years old. So it was well used in its time. $25,000 to buy a used car with 70,000 miles on it. I was looking, and the dealership was a friend of mine. I'm going, are you kidding me? And I'm looking at the numbers, I'm like, that's a good deal. It's not a good deal, but it's as good a deal as anybody could get. Things are getting expensive. Like that was crazy to me. So I had to finance it. I hated financing it. I can envision myself without debt. Like I am hardcore on that. My kids, they're going to be, you guys, you're going to go to Walmart and buy shoes. It's $20 less than what you're talking about getting. It's $150 less than the shoes that your buddies are having. Like, no, I would rather us go enjoy our lives as opposed to you walking around with some cool shoes. Wow, I felt like I was talking to my kids right then. So, what we choose to spend our money on and how we see ourselves and the vision of who we are. So, are you a borrower or a saver? Your future is shaped by what you do daily. It's not one major event that shapes your future. It's the everyday that we go by. So if we're paying attention to our budget and those things every day, it's going to help us have a brighter future. Wherever you are headed, the day-to-day is going to help you reach your goal. So wherever that is. I look at budgets like this. It's like a map. It's like your GPS. When you got it, did everybody drive here, or did you guys get dropped off or anything? Whatever. You got into a vehicle, and either you or somebody drove to this destination and dropped you off, or you got out of your car. But when you got into that vehicle, especially if you drove, you didn't just take your hands off the wheel, put it in drive, press the gas, and hope that it gets you there. You knew where you were going. You knew you were coming to this campus. And you made it make the turns to get on a destination that you knew where you were going. I look at budgets the same way. Look, I know where I want to be. I know exactly where I want my money to be in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, if you keep me here long enough, in 30 years, tomorrow's not promised to anybody, but I can plan out and go, this is where I want it to be. Now I can step back and go, what are the turns that I need to make to get there? But what if something gets in the way? Let's say I lost my job. I'm the major breadwinner of my household. Let's say I lost my job. Does that mean that goal that I had goes away? No, the goal is still good. That place is still where I want to go. So just like a good GPS, When I was driving over here, I came from Frisco. There was an accident. And the GPS that I'm using on my phone, it had me exit the highway and then come back on because it was blocked down in front of me. Did it take me a couple of minutes longer to get here? Yes, but if I'd stayed on that same path, I might not have made it here on time. So a budget is going to help you go, okay, keep my eye on the prize. I know where I'm heading. All right, I had a job loss, or I had a sickness, or something happened like, let's say tax day was not too long ago. My taxes were a little higher than we anticipated. All right, well, I'm going to have to pull that out. Hey, does that mean that we're not going to take our vacation that we're planning on taking in October? No, that means I'm just going to have to tighten the belt on something, or maybe there's a time that I'm not going to go play something, there will be something, the sacrifice. By the way, sacrifice, interesting. You guys know about sacrifice. Your kids may know about sacrifice. Their kids know nothing about sacrifice. Am I preaching up here? I'm sorry. Know nothing about sacrifice because everything is right in their hands, at the palm of their hands, literally with their phone. Everything is handed to them. They have never really had to give up or not have. Things are laid out for them. Sacrifice is a big deal when it comes to budgeting. Okay, I can sacrifice. Like I'm not going to go out to eat tonight because I want us to have this trip, and on this trip, I don't want us to worry about anything. This is a vacation for us to get away and relax. So I don't want to finance any of that. I want to relax. I want to enjoy it and get to the end of it and know we had a great time and I've already paid for it all. That's relaxing to me. What's not relaxing to me is going like, we charged up how much? Well, now I got to try to pay for that. Plus interest. It's paying attention and sacrificing for something that we want tomorrow. And how badly we want it. So that's kind of where I look at this as a roadmap, of knowing where I'm going and how to get there. And I love the pay yourself first, by the way. If anybody's done that budget, paying yourself and putting a savings for it, and even specifying a savings into is a vacation, or like my wife didn't even tell me that she was saving for me to have a down payment for a car, knowing that my car with 275,000 miles on it was not going to last long, and I'm a stubborn mule and would keep on driving it until it fell apart. She's like, no, I've been secretly saving some money for you so you can have a down payment and that you will finally go buy yourself a new car. Like, thank you, honey. Still didn't want to do it, but something specific. I have a goal in mind for this, and I'm putting that aside. That's why I really like Pay Yourself First a lot. This is from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett was one of the wealthiest men in the world. At one time, he had the largest and most expensive business in the world. If you owned a share of Berkshire Hathaway, you owned gold. Not more than gold, diamond. You owned a piece of our economy if you owned that. One of the wealthiest men in the world said, don't save what is left after spending, spend what is left after saving. This is Warren Buffett. Does he have to worry about saving money? Yes. He worries about saving money because he has money, and he has money too. This is going back to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He worries about saving money even though he has enough. He's taking care of his money. Just because he has it to spend doesn't mean he's spending it. And it's a great lesson. It's how we get out of debt. It's how we get out of need, is paying attention to what we have. Now, there are times in our lives, and there are times in our lives where things get tough, and we have to pay attention, and we have to buckle up, and we have to sacrifice. We should still pay attention like that in times that we're not having to sacrifice, so that when those bad times come in, we are prepared. And that's kind of what he's talking about here. Pay attention to your spending. Save and then spend. And budget yourself on something like that. That's the Pay Yourself First method. So I'm going to go over pretty quickly here. I know I got plenty of time. I just wanted to check that out. The battle for your money, wants and needs. Also, I'm going to go through the budget systems. There's the Pay Yourself First, which I'm already talking a little bit about. The 50-30-20 and the 70-20-10. These are two different kind of similar budget systems. Also, a thing called zero base, or a lot of you probably understand the envelope budgeting system. So I'm going to go over these, and then one other, which is a based on your income. So I'm going to go over those, implementing the plan and tracking it, and then finding some money and reducing your debt. So how can I keep more money in my own pocket? So wants versus needs. It is the big topic. It's what we started off with, without saying wants versus needs, of how are we spending our money? Am I spending it on things that I shouldn't? Or am I just spending it just to spend because it makes me feel good to go spend money? Doesn't make me feel good to pay the debt, but it makes me feel good to spend money. That's not me saying that I feel good spending money. Although, let's face it, it doesn't stink to spend money, to go get something new. Like, it does feel good. There's some endorphins. There's some middle of if I just bought this and I got this, it's almost like giving a gift to yourself. And it feels good to do it. It doesn't feel good when you need to stretch something out. Yes, ma'am. There's a comedian that says, my wife saves us money by spending it because she goes out and bargain hunts. You might need to open up a bargain store. Like something, Well, hey, here's this will be something that we'll talk about later in the making money. Look, there's lots of people. I don't know if anybody's on Facebook, but Facebook Marketplace has lots of people that put things like that up and sell it. And if you got a really good deal on something you bought, but now somebody would pay twice as much or more for it, it's easy to put that out there and maybe make a few extra bucks off of your habit of buying some budget items. So it's a thought, but look, everybody has this. The thing is that everywhere we go, somebody's trying to sell us something, except for right here. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but we go out in the world and you can't get very far. You can't even look at your phone. You can't look at an app. You can't look at a TV. You can't look at anything that somebody's not going, here's the greatest and latest thing that you should have. They're constantly coming after our money. So wants versus needs are really important to kind of get a hold of. And here's a scenario. Now, I joke about me. Obviously, I'm overweight. It's pretty obvious. I'm trying to lose weight. I've tried several different methods, and I tried the Atkins diet, which was like, hey, I'm gonna eat, so I might as well go on an all-protein diet, and so that I can eat and I can lose weight. It didn't work. My doctor, I know the cholesterol went high because I was eating all of these animal proteins, and had to stop doing that. But while I was doing it, I was having some success, and one of the things I wanted to do is trick myself with a treat. And one of those treats was cottage cheese. Cottage cheese and peaches made me feel like I was eating an ice cream after dinner. It felt like I was having a dessert. So it got that sweet tooth out. Loved it. It was really great. Now, knowing that I needed to lose weight for my health and that a protein diet was helping me to lose weight, was the cottage cheese a need or is that a want? What do you guys think? Need? Want? Want? Okay. That's great. Well, let me see. What did I say it was? I did say it was a want, but here's why it's a want. In my case, it was a need because I needed that. If I didn't, then I was going to go devour something that I shouldn't. So in case I was a need, but why do I have it in the want? Because this is Daisy brand cottage cheese, which was $1.50 more than the cottage cheese that I could go buy at Aldi. Here's a difference of opinion on this. If I don't like the other brand, if I'm not going to eat it, even though it's cheaper and I'm not about to eat that, then maybe that Daisy brand pops in the need. It's like, that's the only one I can stomach. So that's why I say it's not right or wrong. There's nothing. It is a conversation to have with yourself about, is this something that I truly need or not? And unfortunately, most people are not having that conversation with themselves. And they're just taking whatever because I really want that. So I talk about that. It's really important to stop and consider these things that we're spending our money on. All right, so these are kind of what I call the bucket budgeting systems. So it goes like this: the 50, 30, 20. This is talking about your net income. So after taxes, whatever you bring home. And it's based on a monthly income. So 50%, you can't read it, 50% of your money goes into the needs bucket. These are things that I need. That's like your housing, your car, your transportation, insurance, those things that you have minimum balances on credit cards, minimum payments on any of your debt. Those are needs. Those are things I have to pay off every month. That's at a minimum. And then it's 30% into wants. So this is what I want to talk about budgeting. Budgeting is always going to consider the wants. It doesn't wipe out wants. And lots of people think if I'm budgeting is like, well, I can't ever have the things I want. No, you just got to budget for the things that you want. And be conscious of what you want and how that's affecting the rest of your budget. So 50% in your needs, 30% of wants, gadgets, entertainment, going out to eat. I talk about going out to eat a lot, don't I? And travel. Those type of things that are the spice of our life, that keeps us happy, that actually would give us the opportunity to sacrifice for something. Why would I sacrifice my time just to make money? Now, it's great to make money, to have a house, to have food for my family, but to be away from my family at night, to work extra hard, am I going to do that if it's not for some of the things that I really want? So wants help us drive too. And then 20% is about savings. And every one of them is going to have some sort of savings element to it because savings is ultimately important. I will say savings is the most important thing. It's not exciting, is it? Talking about savings isn't exciting, but it is extremely important because in my opinion, savings is opportunity. If I don't have savings, then I don't take this new job. Boss, I don't have a new job. Just if you watch this video. I'm not looking for a new job. I love what I'm doing. But if there was an opportunity that came up and I didn't have any money in my savings, but if I moved to this new job, I'm going to have a 2-week period where I don't get paid. If I don't have savings, then that's going to be a thought like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? That next job is important and will be better for my family in the future. But how do we get from here to there? Or I need to spend time to get a certification. It's going to cost me some money to get this certification, to get this upgrade in my pay. But I'm going to have to spend the money. What if I don't have the money to spend now? Am I going to borrow that? And when am I going to pay it back? Is it good for my family? Yes. But today, right now, with my budget today, can I handle that? If I don't have savings, I'm having these conversations. If I have savings, it's absolutely, I'm taking that opportunity and we're doing it. Does that make sense? Savings opens up opportunity. If I don't have that, then I am always begging or waiting or hoping. And lots of times people make poor decisions about that next opportunity because they don't have savings today. And then when they get into that, they're so desperate for that next check that they make bad decisions within that new job or whatever it may be. And if a great opportunity for an investment came up, but I don't have any savings, then I'm robbing my future for hope of something today. Does that make sense? I can't talk about savings enough. Yeah, I got time to tell these things. I was in college. My good friend, who was my roommate, he got a job. He got a job full-time selling commercial insulation. And the insulation, the air ducts come up and they've got this insulation wrap around it so that, in the middle of summer when it's 105 degrees outside, how hot is it in the attic? It's crazy hot. And this keeps the air cool from the air conditioning unit to get to the room. So he worked for a company that did that type of wrap on ducts and pipe and different things. It's a big commercial business. He did sales. He was really good at it. He was exceptional at it. Before long, this 19-year-old, all of their clients were his. He was really good. This company was being built off of his clients. And his team, they all decided that they wanted to go let's stop doing this for this company. Let's start doing this for ourselves. He's 19, 20 years old. I'm a young banker. And we're talking about this, and he's like, well, how can I start this company? And I'm laughing, like, you can't. You don't have credit. You don't have savings. You don't have anything that any bank is going to lend you on. Just the hope that we're going to be good. That's not going to happen. But I knew his team. And I actually knew while they didn't have their money in a savings account somewhere, they had saved money. They had money in jars. They had money in envelopes in their house. They had money. I knew it, just knew it. So I said, let's do this. Let's talk about building that savings for you. Have everybody that's going to be, they're all going to be ownership in this company. Yes, they're all going to have ownership in the company. Okay, so what I want them to do is I want them to take their money, the money that I believe that they have in their house, and put it in a CD, a certificate of deposit, lock that up for a short amount of time, and have them pledge that as a loan for the company. They're still going to have their savings, but now that money is pledged for the company to be able to get a loan. Is the bank going to give you the loan? Absolutely, the bank is going to give you the loan because you have cash put up there against this loan. So there's no risk for them. If you decided, if y'all went belly up and you couldn't make your payment, well, they've got the cash. They don't lose anything. But what you now have is a secured loan under the business's name. You can get those lines of credit that you need to buy the equipment, to buy the material to put on, and you can start it. Today, 30 years later, it's one of the largest and most successful commercial installations companies in the country. Everybody that initially put that money in, they've all got that loan got paid out within a year. So they all got their savings back within a year. Plus they own a piece of the company. Since then, all of them have sold out of the company and they are retired and living the life of their dreams because they had the opportunity of savings. Like, I can't preach this enough. Savings opens up opportunities. So whether this is for y'all to hear or for you to tell your kids and their kids, savings opens up opportunity. It's not exciting. But I got to tell you, that end is the American dream and is exciting. Most of them were immigrants, and they built the American dream. It was awesome. So is savings sexy? Savings is sexy. This is for the internet. So there, I'm gonna get off that soapbox again. I started doing that. So that is why every one of these is gonna have some sort of savings element. The 70, 20, 10. This is 70% for your monthly bills. So what it does, it takes your needs and it takes your wants and it kind of squeezes them into one big bucket. It's a little bit easier to deal with than the 50, 30, 20 because you have a little bit more wiggle room within that 70% budget. So if you're tight on this one, on the first one, 50, 30, 20, then the 70, 20, 10 may actually be a little bit easier to get into. The 20% is savings. So we're saying on savings, but then it adds this other bucket, which is donations. So if we are tithing to a church or we support something in our community and we do that month to month, it has you a bucket for that. And or the other part of the D is debt reduction, which this one is really big. So this one's big on your savings and your debt reduction. So they definitely, which is an important thing. And by the way, I will say this, I don't know that I say this very, very well, but I know what I intend when I say this. Savings and debt reduction are the same dollars. If I've got $100 going out and I pay that debt off and now I don't have $100 going out, I have saved that $100. That's money that is in my cash flow that has returned to my cash flow. It's flowing out. Now it's not flowing out. So I've saved that money when I've paid that off. Does that make sense? So debt reduction will equal savings. It's a little bit weird way to go about it, but it is true. If I'm having debt and debt and debt and my money is flowing out and flowing out and flowing out, I got to put a stop to that somehow. And that stop is going to save me money. That's true. That's true. I will tell you that I usually, and we'll get into this in a second, I usually don't talk a whole lot about interest rate. And there's why, and I will explain a little bit more of that. But the question's going to be, and I'm going to put this out to y'all think about it, and don't give me the answer right now. Which is more important when you're looking at a loan or when you're looking at your debt? Is it the rate? Is it the time in the loan or the amount that you borrowed? Just y'all think about that. We're going to get back to that in a moment. So rate, amount, or time. So these budget systems are really great. I kicked something. Are really great. One of the things, you got me eating cotton candy at a park with my dog and money's flying out of my pocket. If 50% of my or my net income can cover all of my needs, I'm doing pretty good. If that is my life, I'm doing all right. I have handled my budget really, really well. Most people, if we're talking about 85% of people don't have enough money month to month, then this one doesn't work for them. Also, the 70-20-10 doesn't work for them because 70% of total of the things that I'm going to spend monthly, if 70% of my income can take care of that, then we wouldn't have 85% of people that are saying that they're struggling with their month-to-month paycheck. So these are good, awesome goals. This is what I like for most people, and this is really for most people starting out, and it is to pay yourself first. So you get your bucket for savings, and I go, this is how much I can put in and not have to take out each month. Things happen, you understand, but this is what, based on when I look at how much I got going out, this is how much I can put aside and then forget about it. Set it and forget it. It's cooking in there. It is cooking in there. Let that go. I can put that money in. This is how much, every time I get paid, I can drop aside and not pull anything out. So that is important. Then, after that, you do your monthly bills. What are the minimums I have to pay? All of the minimums. I'm always talking about minimums because we talk about minimums in your monthly bills, and then we talk about debt reduction. Those are two separate dollars. I have to pay the minimum, and now I need to talk about what am I doing to reduce this debt. So when we're talking about budgeting, we first talk about minimums because that has to go out to save your credit and to take care of the obligations that you've agreed to do. And then the rest of it's for fun. And by the way, debt reduction in my world is fun because once that's gone, it's the most amazing feeling. Those type of things in our life are important for us to pay attention to and hope that we can get there and that we pay attention, that we got enough savings to be comfortable and to accept opportunity. We take care of our monthly bills, and then whatever's left, let's have some fun with. So I like that budget system. I say stay real, and I say stay real for this reason. Look, if we're lying to ourselves about how much we're spending, then we're not doing any good for ourselves. My son, who hates that I talk about him, I got two boys, the youngest. One doesn't spend $1, my oldest. The other spends everything he gets. I don't know, how can they be so different? But they are. He loves Taco Bell. He loves it. He'll spend every dollar he has on Taco Bell. He asked me for $20. This was quite some time ago. I was like, hey, can I get some $20? He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to Taco Bell. He's like, you got a job. Where's your money? Oh, I don't know. Like, you don't look at you like, kid, like, it like breaks my heart. You don't look to see where it is? No, it's like, I guarantee it's all gone to Taco Bell. I have not gone to Taco Bell that much. It's like, well, let's pull up your account. I didn't know that I went to Taco Bell that much. Stay real. If you want to budget, if my son wants to budget, he better pay attention to just how much he's got going out to Taco Bell, and he better not lie to himself. This will work if we stay real with ourselves. Zero base or the envelope. This is the system that most people will say, if you are having a problem with debt, or if you're having a problem with making ends meet month to month, then you must do a system like this so that you can see exactly where every dollar is going. And zero base simply means this. It accounts for every single dollar you have coming in and going out to zero. So if I've got a check and it's $2,000, say I got paid, it's $2,000, and I've got $1,500 going to my house payment. And then I got $250 going to insurance, and then I've got another $50 for food, and then $100 is going to be gas and incidentals and other things like that. Just, I've accounted for every dollar to zero. even if it's not spending zero, I'm also, let's say that last $100 in incidental is $50 going into savings. I'm accounting for that $50 going into savings. I am paying attention to where every single dollar goes. This is a much oversimplified talk about a zero-based budget, by the way. It's very much oversimplified, but if you wanted to get into the nuts and bolts and get a zero base, then I'd be happy to go further with you on this. A really great example of zero-based budget is the envelope system. Has anybody used the envelope system or know what I'm talking about? So it's great. Like, this has been around for a long, long time. But if I take that $2,000 and I put the $1,500 in the envelope for my house payment, and then I put $250 in this, and I keep going, and I put one for the savings account, I put every envelope, the money for a specific title of the spending in that envelope, and say one of them's eating out, it's $250 eating out. When I take that last 20 bucks out of that envelope and buy whatever food it is, Taco Bell for my son, then I don't eat out anymore because that was my budget. It is awesome. It really will help you understand where your money is going. There's no lying to that because you've placed it up. But you will notice if, we got through our grocery budget really, really quick. Well, maybe you didn't budget enough for that. Maybe we need to pay, is there some place that you can move the money around or is there something within what you're purchasing that is wrong? I recently started buying our groceries at our house. One, because my wife said, I'm gonna do the budget, you need to go do the shopping. And the truth of the matter is, I had zero concept of how much things cost out there. I knew how to manage our budget. I knew how the big items and what things cost, but how much a gallon of milk cost or a carton of eggs. I had really zero concept of that because I wasn't doing the shopping. She was handling the budget and going shopping. I was working all the time and doing the yard stuff. So I didn't know. It was she said this a couple of days ago, like, I am so glad, because I came home, I was like, what? Do we drink a gallon of milk? Do we really need to buy a gallon of milk? I don't drink any milk. What do we do? Well, we make this, we make this, we make this. It's okay, I didn't know how much a gallon of milk cost. When did it get that expensive? There was something else I read about it, and she just laughed and thought it was hilarious. And I'm like, okay, I hear you. So I hear you. I didn't know. She was amazing at it. It's taken me some time to get on top of being able to do the purchasing in a good way. So I said, it's like we really need to pay attention, and that type of system helps us do that, because if I was using the envelope system and I went to the store, I wouldn't have brought home all the groceries. Because if she'd given me a $100 bill and said, go buy the groceries, at the end of that, I was like, oh, okay. I started putting things back in I'd have to go, well, I guess I can't have this. I really thought I wanted those cookies. I did want the cookies. I didn't need the cookies. Cookies went back on the shelf. Like, I was purchasing foolishly. I didn't know just how much it was costing us on groceries. It was a great, great lesson for me. So I said, an envelope system or a zero-based system like that will show you exactly where your money is going and then where I need to pay attention to. Because one of the things that's in with all of these systems is that they're usually based on a monthly, and most of us don't live month to month. Most of us live week to week. We're buying our groceries every week. Nobody's buying groceries for the entire month. So what I really like is the check-to-check budget. And that can be used, you can make it up every 2 weeks or every check, which could be monthly. But I like it splits it up into a little bit. And it's really about doing this. I get my net pay, and I'm looking from what I get net pay today, what bills are due until I get paid again, and what date are they due on. And I write that out and I journal that out. This is the way my wife does our budget. And it's worked very, very well for us. Look, I'll have to say this. I work at a bank, I work at credit unions. It doesn't mean they let me take home the money. I know where it is. I don't have access to the vault. If I did, I would be in jail, because this is not a business that you get in to become wealthy. I can promise you, you've never seen a truly wealthy banker that's working in a bank. Those that are above them and above them and above them on executive levels and higher, maybe so. But those of us that are on the ground and that are working, that's not, I love what I'm doing. I'm fine. Like, money's fine, guys. I'm just saying that to go like, hey, I want you guys to know that we have to budget. I have to pay attention to my money. So the check to check is really important to us. It has helped us. It's kind of like we kind of do it in on almost a zero-based way where we're accounting for every dollar, including our savings and any extra spending and fun and all that stuff is all accounted for in that from one check to the next, from one check to the next. And when my wife sits down and she does our budget and she starts paying the bills, when it's completed, I can see the relief because she knows these things are taken care of. If I called her right now and asked her about any of our debts, she could tell me exactly where they are, exactly how much we owe, what we owe, when it owed, because she does it every 2 weeks. It's a great thing to get. If you do this, you will get on top of a budget. You will understand where your money is going, and you will understand where to make some changes. Oh, I love the check-to-check system, but what's the most important thing about it all is how you track it and pay attention. Because if you don't track and pay attention, then we're just putting numbers on paper and it doesn't mean anything. Now, there's apps, there's plenty of apps that can help you do that. Like, these phones are awesome and they're powerful. They have a lot of information on it. But these apps, they have us disconnected from our money because a lot of times the app will do all the work for you. Does that make sense? Because especially in the zero-based budgeting, it's putting all the dollars where it needs to go. The app is taking care of so much for you. It's great, but it doesn't actually put us in connection. A computer, if you're somebody that would be likely sitting behind a computer and an Excel spreadsheet, those are great. But and you're still interacting with it. I love journaling. I love the journal. My wife does the journal. It is a really great thing because there's something cathartic about writing it down, subtracting what you just paid, and writing the new balance and being connected to that money. That's why my wife knows exactly where our money is. She knows where it is and it isn't because every month she is doing that. And then we talk about it. So those are some places to find some hidden money. Check your insurance. If you haven't had somebody, not your current agent, by the way. I'm not saying the current agent or whoever's handling your insurance is frauding you. They may be great, but this just happened to my wife, and I think I know a little bit about money. Like, I talk about money all the time. I know a little bit about it. I've been in the business for a long time. It wasn't that long ago that my wife and I said, that sounds strange, because we added a young driver to our insurance because he just got his driver's license, got a car. We had to add him to the insurance, and the insurance company made a mistake, and they didn't put him on, but they said that he was on. And then they came up and said, here's your new bill with a new driver. Like, oh, that's way too expensive. So we went and had somebody else check out our insurance. Not only did we add a new driver, which should have made our insurance go up, it went down. We added the new driver and our insurance went down because we had somebody check it. And I thought I knew what I was talking about when I go out there and talk about money. Check your insurance. An independent agent, somebody else, you might say, but by the way, America's Credit Union has a credit union organization that has the same thoughts as a credit union, but they are an insurance company and they will do a free check for you. If you're a member of the credit union, they will do a free check to see if you are paying the right amount, and then get you into a program that will save you money. So that's something available for you. Check your subscriptions. If you got a phone, there might be subscriptions out there. You don't have to have a service or rocket money. You don't have to have some rocket scientist tell you what you're paying. It's there on your phone. You can look at it. If you don't know what to look at, I guarantee your kids do, or their kids know how to help you find out what you're paying, because you might have a subscription that you don't know about. Like, there's lots of medical subscriptions. There's lots of subscriptions about vitamins that people get into and they try and they didn't close it out in time because they're kind of a little bit scammers, or they're real companies. but they put you into a program that is actually drawing a little bitty pieces of money out from you that you don't even know. So look in that, see where the money is going. Check out 3 months of your spending. Like if you're not going to do a budget, at the very least, pull 3 months of your spending and look at and then journal that so you can put each in categories. So you just understand exactly how much is going out. It's the only way you could truly understand where I might be able to cut something in my budget, where I might be able to save money. Or you might go, this is perfect. If it's perfect then, and I'm not making ends meet, then I need to find some more money. And how am I going to do that? Unclaimed property. Has anybody reached out for unclaimed property? It's out there. If you haven't, you might have some money. Your kids might have some money. And by the way, you can look for anybody. My wife calls up my dad and goes, my dad was in the banking business forever, but he's 86 years old. He's enjoying playing pickleball. That's all he wants to do. That's not all he wants to do. But hey, did you know that you have $70 that state, contact the state and get your money? $70. Like, don't let $70 sit out there. Go get it. So check unclaimed property. Be careful of any site that is not .gov, that doesn't end in .gov, because there are some fraudster sites out there. So .gov is going to be the way that is a government organization that you are going to, because if you're going to give them information to prove who you are, that's information that a criminal could use to steal your identity and money. Quickly, the snowball effect. If you haven't done this and don't know what about it, to get out of debt, if you are not in debt, tell your friends about it, or have them come to one of my classes online or come over here. The snowball effect is really simply this. I said most households have about $10,000 of unsecured debt. All right, I'm in the way of things. So I've got a scenario of 3 different credit cards. One's got a $1,000 balance, one's got $3,000 balance, one's got a $5,000 balance. Minimum payments, $50, $150, $250. If I'm making these minimum payments and I can add $50 a month to one of them. I'm going to do $50 to one of them. I'm going to take the smallest one. This is the snowball. When you take a snowball and you compact it and you start rolling it in the snow, it's small, then it starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. This is what the snowball effect is about. So I add the $50 to my first one. Now I'm not paying, I'm making my $50 minimum payment, and I've added an extra $50, I'm paying $100. In 11 months, that considering interest, that $1,000 credit card is paid off. Now I take that $100 I was paying to that $1,000, that $1,000 payment, and I add that to my next smallest one, which is the $3,000. So it was a $150 minimum payment. I take that $100, I put it into that. Now I'm paying $250 for that. And guess what? In 20 months total, but in 9 months from when I started when I added that $100, that $3,000 credit card is paid off. Total of 20 months since I started adding $50 extra. And then I take that $250 and I add it to my $250 payment that is the $5,000 credit card. Now I'm paying $500 a month to the largest credit card I have, regardless of what the interest rate is. And then in a total of 26 months, since I started just adding $50 to my minimum payment, to one minimum payment, only $50 extra a month, in just over 2 years, I've got $9,000 worth of credit card debt gone for $50 extra a month. Can you find $50? Can you find $25? Whatever you can find to pay a little bit over that minimum on your smallest one, and then get the snowball going. It's powerful. It's powerful, and it's a little money out of the pocket. It's because of the question I ask you guys. What's more important? Time, the amount, or the interest rate? I didn't talk about the interest rate one on any of these. The interest rate is charged to the amount that you borrowed. The less that amount is, the less interest that's charged to you, regardless of the rate. So the idea is to lower that amount and then reduce the time that you're in it, because every day that I'm in it, it's costing me more. If I get that paid off earlier, I'm reducing how much interest is going out without even touching the rate. The rate's important. Don't give me, like, I'm not going to sit here and go like, the rate is unimportant. The rate's important, but your rate is going to be your rate. There's nothing going to be changing that other than refinancing and pulling that out somewhere else which there is fees. There's stuff that add on to that. I say the most important thing is to reduce the amount that your interest is being charged. Your interest rate is charging. You reduce that amount, you're going to keep more money in your pocket. You're going to get it paid out quicker. It's a powerful thing. It is more important to save. So back in the 70s, I don't know if any of y'all are old enough to remember the 70s. I was very young, but my parents were both bankers, so I grew. These are the things that I learned and knew. Under the Carter administration, they opened up lending in a right way. Look, we needed to lend farther. The banks needed to lend farther out. They needed to help people that were in areas that were not being served. By the way, that's what credit unions were built for, to help people that were not being served. But they had to have legislation to force banks to help people that were not being served, and that's what happened in the Carter administration. Before, you could not buy a house with less than 20% down. You had to save 20% to purchase a house. $20,000 for every $100,000 a purchase. That was hard for a lot of people to do. But that was the rules. And I will tell you that it was actually a very, very good rule. And this was the beginning of putting people in serious debt. Why? Because now you've got an extra $20,000 per $100,000 added to loans for 30 years. It tanked a lot of people, but it was the American dream. Could you buy a house? Yes. But now you have debt that is costing more and longer. So was it a good thing? Yes. Was it a bad thing? It's tough when you're looking at the lending. So it changed, that piece changed how we look at debt from then on. So it's really an interesting thing of what debt is. And we're talking about housing. Yes. And I well, I can go get 100% financing. Great, I got it. Please try to save some money for a down payment. There's many reasons. But the amount you borrow, if you can borrow less, it's going to save you money. It's going to save you money, more money than the cost of time and effort it will take you to try to save some money. To put that saving. It's going to save you more in the long run. It really is about the amount and about the time. The interest rate is a number. And it's going to be the number that's calculated regardless of what the amount you're borrowing is. So if that's not a message for you, tell your friends. Because that's an important piece. Now, that's behind the curtain of what is a loan actually costing you? Where does the cost actually come from? It's time and the amount. But I hope you enjoyed it.